Hello, my name is Madeline Strickland, and this is Group 5's project, and our topic we will be discussing is the importance of parking at UCA. The first impression of parking says a lot about a business, in this case UCA. For most UCA students, it's a victory to find a decent parking spot on a school day. For most businesses, the parking lot is the biggest investment to build and maintain. The main goal of a parking lot is to park close to our nearest classes, which is why convenience is important to students. The function and flow of the community rests on positivity, and parking can be one of the most frustrating things to deal with daily. Every year, UCA increases its student enrollment, and that presses a big issue for availability of parking spaces. Illegal parking has increased due to this matter, causing thousands of students to be outraged when they come back to their car and find a ticket laying on their windshield.
Okay, so I'm Ashton Purtle, and I'm going to be talking about the statistics of parking here at UCA. It's really important that we realize the vast number of students that we have here on UCA's campus. With 11,754 students we have enrolled in the fall 2015 academic term, parking is a serious critical issue when it comes to accommodating how many people must pass through this campus on a daily basis. The number doesn't take into consideration all of the faculty and staff that we have a part of UCA. When including all the people who are likely to be on campus during the course of a day, the number nears 13,000. Though this obviously isn't all at one time, it is important to realize that the majority of people will need somewhere to park in order to reach their class destination. As far as parking fees are concerned, students that are in-state pay about $4,000 for fees each year, and out-of-state students pay about $7,000. Just a very tiny portion of these fees are allocated towards parking. On campus, there are about 7,800 total parking spots, with 4,200 of these spots on campus. They have white lines, meaning that they're essentially kind of a free-for-all. 211 of these spots are for disabled, 84 spots are metered spots, 70 visitor parking spots. There's 200 spots that are reserved, 1,776 residential spots, and last, there are 854 spots for faculty parking. There aren't enough spots on UCA's campus to be able to accommodate the extensive number of people who are tied to UCA's campus, so there must be a solution or improvements that can be made in order to better this issue for the students, faculty, and staff here at the university.
My name is Dudley, and as an off-campus student at the University of Central Arkansas, I commute to class daily. Now, parking is very relevant in my daily life because of this. Each day I have a morning class and a mid-morning class, so I have to arrive to campus around 7:30 to get a parking spot. And during that time, parking spots fill up very early in the morning. Because I have a class at 7:30 and 11, I have to stay on campus or else I'm going to lose that parking spot. Because parking fills up so fast, it's a constant competition between students to find a spot so they can get to class on time. It's very difficult to find an empty spot before each class lets out, so most students arrive to campus at the same time. So if a class lets out at 8:50, most students don't show up at 8:50 because there's not going to be a parking spot. And some students, they become reckless when searching for a spot. Many speed down the aisles, which can be a hazard to many of the other students walking down the aisle. And many professors also expect us to be very punctual when attending class. It's very difficult to get to class on time if there's no close parking. Now, there are many shuttle services for the far away parking spots, but there's not enough shuttle drivers to accommodate the students, so many students have to walk. Because of the lack of parking up close and the lack of shuttle service offered, it's very stressful for students to find parking to get to class on time.
Hi, my name is Jack Spradlin. I'm going to be talking to you about ways that we can improve this parking situation here at UCA. There are many things we can do, many ideas that we have, but first let's start with the idea of reducing faculty parking. Now, I'm the kind of person that believes in numbers. Numbers don't lie. And with a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio, I believe that parking spaces should be equally represented by that ratio. Since the faculty are allotted 854 spaces, the students should be allotted 14,518 in total, which obviously isn't happening. That being said, it wouldn't hurt if the faculty shared some love, and after all, it's all about the students here at UCA. Another idea would be to extend the pre-existing shuttle service offered by UCA. There are currently 9 full-time drivers. If we hired an additional 5 full-time drivers and paid them $30,000 a year, which is pretty generous salary for a driver, to drive these routes and different routes at different times of the other 5 full-time drivers, we would have a total of 180% efficiency increase when it comes to getting students to and from classes and parking lots on time. The tuition of just 19 students would cover that cost per year. Instead of building new dorms, which would just further increase our parking problems, UCA could focus on filling up the dorms they already have now and use that space to allot us with more parking spots. One more thing that UCA could do to help with student parking is to limit people with residential faculty parking passes to only be allowed to park in those designated spaces. Not any one of these proposed ideas would solve the parking problem here at UCA completely, but I believe a mixture of some or all of these ideas would do just that.
Hi, my name is Brody Richardson, and today I'm going to be discussing the importance of Donaghy Hall. Donaghy Hall is an up-and-coming project that is set to open August 21st, 2016, right at the beginning of the fall semester. Donaghy Hall will be a 67,500 square foot, 4-story building located on the corner of Bruce Street and Donaghy Avenue, right where the old Papa John's Pizza restaurant used to sit. The first floor will consist of approximately 15,000 square feet of commercial space available for lease for retail and restaurant tenants. But what good does that do for UCA students? Sure, it gives students a place to do a little shopping or eat a bite, but why are we pushing for more restaurants on campus when in reality we need more parking spaces along with other needs? The upper floors are dedicated as a residence hall that will contain 165 beds for sophomore and junior level students. With this building adding an additional 165 more people that live on campus, that means there will need to be an additional 165 parking spaces just to keep up with the current conditions. And it is estimated that the parking lot being built behind Donaghy Hall, will house only about 70 to 80 parking spaces, nearly half of the occupancy that will be living there. The lot on which Donaghy Hall is being built is a perfect size for a parking garage, which would suit the needs of UCA. And last but not least, as I mentioned before, the first floor will be leased for different types of retail, which is such an odd place for students to gather. With it being across the street from campus and on the very opposite side of campus from most dorms, it isn't going to be very convenient. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Madeline Strickland, and I'm going to be talking about why students want a change. In student tuition fees, we pay for some of the maintenance for UCA parking lots, and that means we pretty much pay for our own parking spot. But as shown in the statistics, there isn't enough parking spots for each student that is enrolled at UCA. This causes some people to park as far as the hospital parking lot. This is an inconvenience to all students to walk all the way to their nearest classes and frustrates everyone who has to do so. This may cause some people to speak out about what has to be done and can negatively impact the enrollment of new UCA students just by what is being heard through other students. Other transportation isn't always available for all students, and most students seem to have cars. And finally, faculty parking isn't always as crowded compared to student parking.
Hi. After you heard all of our good slides and everything, we hope you understand that parking is very important to us, and it can help any business, and it's important to any business, and it's important to every student, and it should be important to every faculty member the UCA has. In reality, it could save people a lot of time, a lot of money after regarding wrecks that people were put in for certain parking situations. And personally, to myself and a lot of fellow UCA people, Donaghy Hall just isn't that important and isn't that needed right now. What we really need is a parking structure like a parking deck. Students should be of more importance instead of trying to house places for retail like at restaurants or shopping areas just to bring in revenue, when really we're the ones paying for the stuff, so we might as well get what we need, which is a parking deck. We hope you understand all of our reasonable ideas. We hope you put it into consideration. Thank you.